You've made a lot of progress this year. You've done a lot. You've either made a transition in your career, you've improved your situation financially, you've found a new great relationship, you've improved your spiritual life, or anything of this nature, or maybe multiple of these aspects. But under the surface, there's still some sense of uneasiness. Something still isn't quite right, and you're not where you're meant to be internally and externally. You're getting there, but it's not quite all into fruition. And recently, you have a different type of presence. You're feeling more comfortable inside of your own skin. You're feeling more comfortable with the lifestyle you're living. You're feeling more comfortable saying no to those things that aren't right for you. Even when your friends invite you places, if it's not right for you, you say no. You're stepping more into your own agency. But at the same time, there's unresolved traumas and blockages from your past that are coming up that are stopping you from full fruition of your potential. You haven't even reached your final form yet. You've made a lot of progress and you're already feeling great, but this isn't your final form. Your final form is so much greater. We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. Our full potential is something like this nice tree I've found here. Roots reaching hundreds of feet down into the earth, fully grounded in your life. At the same time, reaching up into the heavens, building that connection with the divine, with the higher power, and expanding in multiple directions, finding abundance in every area of your life. This is what's possible. And I want to talk about free will. This is something that's been on my mind. So let me first explain what will is. And the reason I'm talking about this is because your willpower is what's going to get you to that state of abundance that you want all across the board in all aspects of life. So what is will? Will is directed consciousness, focused consciousness onto one point, onto one goal. Now, so will is really just consciousness. It's applied consciousness to an objective or a goal or even an object or a situation. Now, our willpower is tied up in things that happen in childhood, traumatic experiences, things we didn't want to address that made us feel uncomfortable that we just shoved into the unconscious. And at the time, we didn't know any better. That was our best way to cope. When we were children, teenagers, we didn't have the tools we have now to address this and heal these situations. So your consciousness and your willpower got stored inside of these, you could call them samskaras, or just these pain points in the body and the mind. They got stored in the subconscious. And that is diminishing your willpower because, say, maybe someone encroaches on your territory, encroaches on a project at work, or tries to take something that's yours, you might feel a protective type of energy come up. Or, just your partner or your friend irritates you and you feel a sort of anger bubbling up to the surface. A lot of the times, and it may be out of proportion to the actual situation, and what's going on is those unresolved blockages are coming back up, that situation is stimulating what's already inside of you that's stopping your life from fully flourishing. So when we are able to, through certain techniques, through meditation, through somatic body work, release these energies and this trauma, that's when we can reclaim our free will and build a life according to our design, or even according to God's design for your life. Because we're all made in the image of God, and what your free will really is, it's a partition of God's will. Your free will is just as powerful as God's will, and that's why we don't give ourselves enough credit for how powerful we are. We've learned to identify with limitation, with the human form, with all of these things we think we are. We think we're an anxious person or an angry person, or that we have some sort of problem. But that's not who we are. That's just consciousness stuck inside of a pattern inside of yourself. And we have the capability to heal that. And when that's healed, you step back into your dynamic free will. So, how can we accomplish this? You're already on the right track with the changes you're making to your life. But introspection is a key ingredient. Reading powerful books, journaling, meditation. What meditation will do is quiet the mind so that you're able to reclaim that free will, or it's going to allow you to sit as an observer and see what's coming up, see where these energy blockages lie. Normally these thoughts and emotions come up and you either repress them, or you don't pay attention to them, or you don't notice how severe maybe the issue is. But in meditation, when you allow yourself to just observe, you're going to see what's blocking you and what needs to be worked on. And I read an excerpt from Ken Wilber's work the other day that I want to bring up here because I found it a really powerful exercise. And the idea behind it is that normally when a powerful emotion comes up, such as anger or sadness or anything of that nature, any powerful emotion, lust even, when these things come up, attributes that we don't want to acknowledge that exist within us, we push it away and we suppress it because we don't want to identify with that aspect of ourselves. Even though it is an aspect of ourselves, we would rather view ourselves in a more positive light. However, all that's going to do is make these subconscious tendencies operate in the background, and you're not going to have control over them. So what you can do is when this comes up, instead of running away from it, just try and make that emotion stronger. When tension comes up in the body, try and make yourself as tense as you possibly can. When anger comes up, fully immerse yourself into that anger and try to enlarge it. And the reason this is going to help is because essentially with all these emotions, the anger we're feeling, the sadness, the tension, we project that onto the world and imagine that it's because of circumstances in the world and other people potentially that is the reason we're feeling this way, when really it's something we're doing to ourselves. So by fully feeling into it, you're going to notice that it's yourself that's making you feel that emotion. It's something you're doing to yourself, or that tension. And by recognizing that, if someone's just pinching themselves and repeatedly pinching themselves and they want to stop feeling pain, you don't have to look into all the mechanisms of why it's happening. You just stop pinching yourself. So by going fully into the emotion or the tension, you realize it's something you're doing to yourself, and you're able to release that and stop that pattern. So, as an exercise for today, I want you to spend 5 to 10 minutes in meditation, just either following the breath or just sitting in silence and seeing what comes into awareness. And then either before or after that, spend 5 to 10 minutes journaling and just get out on the paper everything you're feeling. And I want you to commit to doing this for at least 1 week if you want to really start to heal and step into your full potential. So, let's go back to this tree I just found here, and I spontaneously wanted to record a video. It's a beautiful spot, and it's a magnificent tree. And this tree started out as an acorn in the ground, or maybe it wasn't an acorn, but whatever, that just small essence of the tree, a sapling. And that tree grew into this magnificent creation you see before us. And that's how our lives unfold if we get out of our own way. Because we start out as a baby, we don't know anything in the world. And then our true essence and our true unfoldment gets covered up by society and the concepts and all these blockages. But when we can shed that, then we can grow authentically in all of the directions and all of the abundance we want for ourselves, we can grasp. Rooted down deeply into the earth, grounded in the body, centered, reaching up into the sky, into divinity, embodying God's will for us and establishing that connection with the divine, and then also expanding out in all directions that we see fit for us. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Jai Guru.